Daylight savings has opponents in farmers, filmmakers, and sleep scientists. Daylight saving is just around the corner, which means the end of an hour of sleep as well. But if some lawmakers get their way, it won't be happening again. Daylight saving time is a way to help save energy. It's when we set our clocks forward in the spring by 1 hour and then back again in the fall by 1 hour. Sunday, November 6th, 2 a.m., time for the U.S. to lose an hour of sleep. Even though most U.S. states observe daylight saving time, a few, such as Arizona, Hawaii, and a number of territories, opt out of daylight saving time for various reasons. This year it might become permanent, just like pet rocks. This March, the Senate unanimously voted to make daylight saving time permanent, and in current news, the House has approved of it. If everything goes well, this will be signed into law by President Joe Biden. A brief history of daylight saving time. Year 1784. Ben Franklin is often attributed with being the inventor of daylight saving time, but he actually just wrote a letter, though, where he voiced an opinion that longer days could help conserve resources. 1895. George Hudson is an entomologist that is willing to work overtime in the daylight hours and then go bug hunting after he has finished. 1907. William Willett's time shift plan involves setting clocks ahead 20 minutes on Sundays in April and then back an hour the following Sundays in September. This can save lots of seasonal energy use, increase daylight hours, and solve other problems. 1908. Albany, New York became the first in America to use daylight saving time when they turned it on in 1942. 1916. Due to the World War, countries quickly switched to daylight saving time. Germany and Austria were the first to, closely followed by UK and France. 1918. The Standard Time Act and Daylight Savings Time were both introduced in the U.S. 1942. The U.S. Congress passed a federal daylight saving law, except for the caveat that it would end 6 months after the war ended. Afterwards, it was up to cities and states to set their own time zones. 1966. Congress has passed legislation that would standardize daylight saving time across the 50 states. More on this at today's press conference. 1973. A national shortage of energy led to the President and Congress enacting daylight savings time nationwide. 1975. American daylight saving time is changing from 2018 present. 2007. Most countries around the world have standardized their time to Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC. 2021. Sunshine Protection Act proposed making daylight saving time permanent. Who opposes daylight saving time? The U.S. Department of Transport understands the advantages to this change. Not only will it boost your business's productivity and energy efficiency, but it also gives you an hour more in the evening. Daylight hours aren't just good for people, they are also a boon for business because they often lead to increased productivity. Programs such as energy efficiency can have an even wider effect by helping both the company that made the investment and the economy at large. A study by Emerson has shown a global GDP of $3 billion to be at stake each year due to energy efficiency failures. But we can still do more for our planet. Here are some people and industries who are against daylight saving time. Farmers. Agriculture jobs don't depend on sunrise and the clocks changing. Daylight saving time is a big inconvenience. It delays the harvest, milk times, and more. To try to get back on their natural schedule since the time change, their days have been regular, but they start an hour later and leave an hour earlier. The civil markets open an hour later. Movie makers, when it's light out, people are typically less willing to go to a movie theater. There are some theories about why this is, including the popularity of the drive-in theater. One theory is that daylight saving time is affecting people's choices for TV programming. Schools, switching to a later start time for schools increases the risk of crime and accidents, especially among young people. This is because they have a natural delay in their body clocks called delayed sleep phase syndrome. Studies have found that kids who play after-school sports are more likely to get better grades. Business people, the estimated cost to cross-border and international trade has not been calculated. Criminals, judges who are sleepy tend to give out longer sentences. Sleep experts, the daylight saving time effect occurs when you change your clock, which can cause sleep deprivation and fatigue. Older people, children, and pets in particular have a hard time adjusting. A recent study highlighted that there are more accidents on the first Monday after the change due to a lack of sleep. Even depression, heart attacks, and miscarriages in women.